Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And today we're going to talk about Please Don't Feed the Children, a post-apocalyptic horror movie, a Tubi original, directed by Destry Allyn Spielberg. And if you're wondering, yes, she actually is the daughter of that Spielberg, the Steven Spielberg, the #1 Spielberg in your mind when you think of the name Spielberg. But unfortunately for her, she has not necessarily inherited her father's talent for storytelling, as
the alternate title of this movie is probably Please Don't Watch the Movie.
Yes, this was an incredibly dull movie that I did not like. I didn't like it one bit. The movie has a simple premise, but it's overcomplicated by a whole bunch of backstory and lore. Basically, the idea is you have a group of orphans in a post-apocalyptic future where half of the adult population has been wiped out by this cannibalism virus. So the remaining adults now hate all the orphaned children that are the children of all those cannibals and fear them, so they're locking them all up in internment camps. So these orphans are just trying to survive in this post-apocalyptic wasteland when they come across a house and a woman who drugs them and captures them. And that's where the movie, starts to get into spoiler territory. So
yeah, I kind of wish that was kind of where the movie started.
Yeah.
Because then we could have just gotten on with it. One of the problems with this virus apocalypse is that you don't really see much of it.
No, it's very much background lore. Most of it is regulated to the opening, not title crawl. They have a voiceover thing that's going over what happened.
The voiceover's easily the worst parts of the movie.
Absolutely. And I don't feel like you spend enough time with these kids, these orphans, before they end up getting captured. So as a result, I didn't really care about any of them.
Yeah, which is really a shame because there are no bad actors in this movie.
Everyone gives a good performance.
Yeah.
The writing is what's lacking in this movie.
Ooh, yeah.
The writing focuses on overcomplicated details that, in my opinion, aren't important.
Yeah.
And kind of lacks in the emotion department, which is actually where Steven Spielberg's movies always excel.
Yes.
Is the emotion department.
Yeah.
Even if they will sometimes fail in a logic department, even if sometimes they don't come together very well, overall, the emotional beats will always hit in his movies.
Yeah. That was kind of his forte.
This movie has...
He's still alive.
He's still alive.
Yeah.
This movie has all of the detail in the lore, but none of the emotional weight to it. And it's entirely in the execution. Because I could totally see how you can do a version of this story that hits hard.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's just not told well enough.
No. And one of the first obvious problem is this complicated kid virus backstory, because this could have just been random zombie apocalypse.
You didn't need it.
That was just it. Yeah.
You didn't need it to be this overcomplicated thing with adults or whatever. You could have just had a group of kids in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, when you do encounter the cannibals, they are just zombies.
Yeah, they're just zombies.
They are just zombies. You didn't need to do this whole thing. There's a reason the movie Mom and Dad have it be only the adults turn. Because the whole premise of that movie is kids realizing that their parents are turning into these fucking zombies.
Yeah. They're realizing that their parents are trying to kill them.
It's baked into the narrative of that. It's important. If you removed it, you make a completely different movie.
Yes.
In this movie, if you remove the whole adults and children dynamic, you have exactly the same movie you would have had if you did this in The Walking Dead.
Yeah. For a movie called Don't Feed the Children, you expect at least one child zombie.
Yeah, and they tease it, but you don't necessarily get one.
Yeah, you don't get one. Doesn't happen. Congratulations.
And the other part of it is the child zombie thing becomes really confusing too, because I thought only the adults could be infected. This is a classic example of the lore overcomplicating things and making me think too much about the logistics of the movie than actually getting involved with the emotions of the characters in the movie. Because I sat there way too long trying to figure out how it made sense that if the adults turn into zombies, it's the children they're putting into camps.
Yeah.
And I guess the logic is supposed to be that because they all became orphans, they became juvenile delinquents as a result of that. I guess.
I don't.
But you're already operating in a post-apocalyptic world where everything's falling apart, so.
Yeah, well, I think the idea was supposed to be that the kids were immune to the virus, but they carried it.
Yeah, except
that never matters.
Yeah, except what ends up happening later is that clearly they're not immune.
Yeah.
you can potentially turn.
Yeah, you can potentially turn to a zombie.
So yeah, like the lore and the backstory to this I found confusing, convoluted, and entirely unnecessary. You could have just simplified this to just be a zombie story and it would have worked just fine. And then you could have spent more time focusing on the characters and the emotions and stuff. There's a point in which you have two characters that are established as being a couple and one of them ends up dying, and I felt literally nothing when it happened because I didn't spend enough time with the two characters to really care about their coupleness.
Yeah, because you were like, oh, those two were dating?
Yeah, and then the other problem is because the movie, for the first half of the movie, it's like afraid to go full horror, so it like keeps all the deaths and stuff off screen. In the last act, it just goes full zombie movie.
Yeah.
But up until that point, it's like holding back in a way that feels really unnecessary. Like, I'm just like, no, you're a zombie movie. I want to see someone get fucking eaten alive. Just fucking show me someone getting eaten alive. Are you not doing it because they're kids? In that case, then maybe you shouldn't have gone with this premise.
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of zombie movies with kids that still let the kids get eaten, like, on screen.
Yeah.
You know? Now, there is one bright, shining spot in this shithole of a movie, and that one bright, shining spot is anytime Giancarlo Esposito's on screen.
Yeah, he's acting like he's in a real movie.
When he shows up, he classes up the movie, and all of a sudden, the filmmaking in the movie feels better. There's this weird choice they made where anytime they're filming the kids and all that stuff, they try to film it in this like handheld, almost gritty fashion. And I'm like, okay, I get it because they're living this like gritty life on the streets or whatever. But then when it like shows Giancarlo Esposito, it's filmed like a Spielberg movie. You're getting like Spielberg close-ups.
Yeah.
And I actually realized in those scenes that because they were filming that more like a traditional like Steven Spielberg movie with the close-ups and the emotional beats and the reaction shots, I was actually feeling his emotions in a way I was not feeling any of the kids' emotions.
Yes. Yeah, despite the fact that the kid actors are perfectly fine.
And I'm sitting there going like, no, you should have filmed the rest of the movie this way, actually. You should have been filming all the scenes with the kids at the beginning when we're supposed to be getting to know them and care about them.
Yeah.
That should have been filmed that way so I could feel their emotions. And I should have been getting these kinds of reaction shots when the kids are facing death later on. So I could feel it when the character is going face to face with a freaking zombie, you know?
Yeah.
Or cannibal in this case, because they're not zombies, they're cannibals.
They should have just made them zombies.
They're basically zombies. There is another really great performance in the movie, and that's the person who plays the woman who captures them, but she's like weirdly miscast because while she gives a great performance, she's playing a character who feels like they're supposed to be like a rural American, like trad wife kind of person. Like they have like Jesus all over the walls and all that stuff. And like, I know that person. I know what that person sounds like. I know what that person feels like. But instead they cast like this proper British actress who's giving like a normal, like evil British villain performance.
Yeah. She's giving like an evil Mary Poppins kind of performance.
It's not a bad performance. It's intimidating. It's threatening. It's pretty solid. But it does feel weird given the context of who this character is supposed to be. I keep feeling like this character should have like a southern accent.
Yeah.
You know? And she doesn't, and it feels off.
It feels very weird. The fact that she was British probably would have flown, but given all the other flaws of the film, you find yourself going, and why the fuck was she British?
Yeah. Now, no shade to any of the children. They do act their asses off in this movie. I honestly just feel like the way they're filmed did not.
Stated again, there are no actual bad actors in this movie. All the actors are very good.
Yep. I feel like it was the writing and the actual filmmaking that failed.
And some of the editing.
Yeah, there were some weird editing choices.
Yes, this is going to be a movie where we actually kind of like point out there's a lot of bad editing in this movie.
Yes, there were so many times where we sat there and went, wait, did that character just leave? Because that scene just ended, but without like a proper ending to the scene.
Yeah. Are these characters in the same house? Like, what's happening?
Yup.
You know?
Yup, 100%. So, Please Don't Feed the Children is a Tubi original. It is currently available on Tubi. If you're interested at all in seeing what Spielberg's Spawn has made, then go see it for yourself. But no, it does not have our seal of approval. We did not care for it.
Not a big fan.
No, not a fan at all. And with that said, let us move on to the spoilers. So the big reveal in this movie is that she has captured these kids for two reasons. One of the kids she hopes to groom to be a replacement for her daughter who died during the Great Cannibal War or whatever the fuck it was in the backstory.
Yeah.
The Other children are being kept in an attic so that she can feed them to her husband in the basement. And in the basement, her husband has been turned into a cannibal and she's been feeding him strays and children and homeless people for years. And so these kids must fight for survival against both her and her zombie husband.
Why would you have a cannibal war and not have that be the movie?
I don't know. There's a lot of where I felt like the backstory would make the more interesting movie, but if you made you made the movie about the parents turning into the cannibals, then you basically would have just made Mom and Dad.
True.
With Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair.
Not having Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair, it's automatically a much different movie.
True.
You know, it's like, I can't get over the fact that it would have been much better if it had just been a zombie outbreak.
Well, yeah, because then you could just use all these shorthands and you don't need to fucking like have an overcomplicated explanation, right?
Yeah.
Because we all understand zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, we all understand zombie apocalypse. All you have to do is like, you know, the dead start rising.
Other thing they could have done that would have made, if they still wanted to keep this like tension between like the youths and the adults, then have the children be the ones who are most susceptible to turning.
Yeah, they could turn into zombies.
If you had done that, like the children are the ones most at risk to turn, and so therefore all the adults fear the children turning, so children are outlawed right now.
Yeah.
Then that would have made just more sense and would have streamlined the whole thing. But then they would have to like rethink the whole like husband in the basement thing and probably just make it her daughter in the basement or something.
Yeah, but then the title of the movie would have made more sense.
Yes, because there's no actual feeding of the children. There's feeding children to the husband.
Yeah.
But that's the main spoiler of the movie. There's not really anything else to spoil except for the fact that like the main character girl who joins the group at the beginning of the movie is the only one to survive at the end.
Yeah.
Everyone else either gets fed to the zombie husband or gets bitten and risk turning and either kill themselves, or it's hinting that they might turn when the credits roll.
And this is why the complicated backstory really kind of backfires, because at the end you're like, okay, he's bitten. Wait, does that matter or not?
Well, yeah, I was confused at that too, because I was like, wait, I thought the children weren't the ones that turn. I thought it was adults.
Yeah.
So why is the last act now like about the children being turned into zombies?
Yeah.
What's with this whole distinction between the adults and children thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
If it was just a zombie, then it wouldn't even matter if like they got bitten at the end. That would just made sense, right?
Yeah.
Then it would have been like, okay, they're gonna turn now, so you know, the one girl shoots herself in the head, you know?
Yeah, that's where my brain goes. Okay, so she's harvesting children because she's got an illegal business and selling child meat.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck ever?
That would have even been better if you had it be all the adults are now cannibals.
Yeah.
And so the children are the only sane ones and trying to keep free, and they think they found like a sane woman.
Yeah.
But then she like turns them into meat pies.
Yeah.
That would have been good. Like, there's so many different ways I feel like this movie could have been improved.
Yes.
You know, from different angles. But unfortunately, I feel like it went with the most convoluted and generic one at the same time. One of the most unintentionally funny things in this movie is that the main character, this is going to sound so bad, but when you see it in the movie, you'll probably understand. The main character has this traumatic backstory where her sister was shot from the police trying to evade being put in the internment camps. So we constantly have these like PTSD flashbacks where her sister shows up and then gets shot in the head suddenly.
Yeah.
But the way it's filmed is so fucking funny every time she gets shot in the head.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard. I felt so bad because it's like a little fucking like 6-year-old girl and she just fucking goes.
Well, it's like that moment in the remake of The Wicker Man where the fucking car comes by and smashes that kid.
And it ceases to be scary and it's just funny.
Yeah. And in one shot, that movie is ruined.
Yeah.
You know, nothing you can do is going to bring the horror back. It's too funny.
That was the moment I realized, oh no. Oh no. I was looking forward to watching Spielberg's daughter's movie, but she is a Nepo baby.
Yeah, this is not working.
Maybe she'll grow into a better filmmaker with time. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to fucking just completely shit over the possibility.
Yeah.
But she definitely does not have her father's right out of the gate talent.
Yeah. The obvious unfair comparison to make.
It's very unfair because I'm comparing her to Spielberg.
Yeah.
Like one of the greatest filmmakers of all time.
Yeah, that was already going to be a problem.
But like even compared to someone who's not like a Spielberg, there are so many other filmmakers whose first time zombie movies surpass this.
Yeah. I feel bad.
Yeah. It's unfair.
This movie makes me feel bad. Just sad. Just really, really sad.
I know what you mean. So yeah, please don't feed the children. Not good. Just not good. So with that said, where can I find you, Count Jackula?
Deep in the pit of my own existential dread at the true course of the human events as they unfold around us in real time. Also known as my stream. It happens every 7 p.m. every weekday, Pacific Standard Time. Hope to see you then. I also have a blue sky. It's Count Jackula.
Y'all know me, I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on various social media platforms, but these days I primarily use Blue Sky, so follow me on there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way, but we will certainly accept more. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, if you made it this far into the video, I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below using the hashtag please don't feed the Nepo baby. I know, it makes me sad too. Peace out, my fellow Gorehounds. This is not one of those movies we enjoyed not liking.
No.